Boop, 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 boop. Let's think about the matchups real quick. I mean, late game edge. Late game edge is definitely Rogue. But not by much. And I would argue that early game is a little tricky. Jace will have Prio early on. And then we'll be able to have the Olaf to back him up. Ryze and LeBlanc is, I would say, is pretty even early on. Obviously, LeBlanc can pressure Ryze quite a bit, but I don't think that's going to happen ever with Phase Rush. All the Phase Rush picks are always like, basically, you go Phase Rush, you can kind of cancel out any all-ins just by having that and wiggle your toes and sneak your way around that and survive the lane phase anyways. And so I would say C9 definitely have the stronger top side, or I'm sorry, Rogue have the stronger top side. C9 have the weaker top side. C9 have the stronger bot lane though. MF Alistar into Jhin Rakan. Jhin is going Fleet for obvious reasons. It's just basically because you already know that this bot lane is an absolute terror. So let's see what happens. I actually haven't seen this. I know the result, but I haven't seen like what happened. And here's the cheese. The cheeses that I keep harping on. Nobody believes in the cheese. Support getting in the brush right away. A 2-on-2 is never going to work for Rogue early, like ever. Just very, very unlikely. They did fake a leash, which I deem a little interesting. They like showed up to lane late to make it seem like a leash was possible because they didn't have the vision down. And Jace into Wukong going the way that you would expect, with Wukong just getting bullied to all hell in top lane. Wukong matchup's pretty tough though, because after a while, like Wukong can just engage on you, and it's very, very tough to outplay as Jace. Definitely takes practice. Obviously, these guys can handle it, but it is very spooky. Jace always has spooky lanes, like Sion just plowing into you, and Wukong plowing into you, and Malphite ulting you. It's just a bunch of spookiness at 6. This is no different. Lee Sin and Olaf matching. It seems like everybody at Worlds is just matching to bot side. Seems like all the games that we've watched has just been matching to bot side over and over. And Rogue basically takes Prio away. And C9 get the first crab. This opens a little interesting because in my brain, I figured that Rogue with Prio would be able to get the crab right away, but Lee Sin's just too fast. Now here comes Jace. Oh, this is kind of interesting. So if you notice, this is kind of cool how this exchange shapes up. So if you notice, Inspired actually knows, this is really clever, and I think is probably overlooked by like casting teams. So Inspired knows that Lee Sin can't have Smite here at the timing. This is why pro matches are, this is the only cool shit that I like about pro matches, like the little intricacies that you don't notice. So like basically Lee Sin has no Smite here at all, and Inspired knows it. So they're actually trying to set up a really clever trap on Scuttle Crab, where they let Lee think he's gonna get the Scuttle, right? And then box him in to see if he makes a mistake. Do you see what I'm saying? And Lee has to respect it and back up. He goes for both, but he was never gonna, you know what I mean? He's never getting both crabs, which I just think is clever as shit. Because at first I was kind of wondering, like, what's Rogue doing here? And it makes sense. Just matching the Lee Sin and just being like, if you really want to take a fight for this crab, like, you're going to lose and I'm going to run you over. So it's just a little smart dance happening that you might have, you know, you might not picked up on in the cast. I think it's just kind of cool. This position that Jace is in is kind of awkward with the Wukong. Looks like Sven and Vulcan are finally loosening up at level 4. They played the open pretty passive and just let Rogue have the push. It's a very smart backstop by Hans Sama. Like, read that play really well. And I mean, it's a pure respect open across the board. No early game inting here. No early game skirmish. Still nothing. And here comes Cloud9. Going for the dragon. At least going for the dragon vision. And this is one of those games where it's like the winner stays, right? So obviously both teams being super scared to be the one that makes the error, to make the mistake. The stakes being super high, obviously your entire season kind of riding on one match. That's pretty intense when you think about it. It's a pretty intense thing to consider. It's like when one match matters so much. And Rogue is not fucking around. They're not giving away this blue buff. I love the skirmish for the neutrals though. And they decide to let it go. And yeah, lots of handshaking here. Rogue with an edge through pretty much all the lanes too. Rogue have CS lead on pretty much every lane. I love Perk's positioning here. That movement is just really good. Just trying to be annoying as he can to Arise. Still no shots fired. A very tense game. You can feel the tension. Jace with the Dirk. Olaf. Kind of an interesting build path by Inspired, actually. Normally I would expect the whip to be the first thing on, but in this case, no. And then you have Rise starting to lose in CS a little bit. The LeBlanc pressure getting to him. Supports kind of protecting mids. All standard stuff. No one really willing to commit yet. For a lot of people, this would be seen as snoozy. I think it's snoozy, but if there wasn't a storyline on it, then... If there wasn't such a storyline on it. I mean, realistically, this is how teams probably should have been playing from the get-go. Rise going for a flank. Sees the LeBlanc use abilities. And Perks is caught. Perks is very caught. The alarm bells are ringing. At the same time, Vulcan going for the counter onto the Jace. And Wukong flash engaging. What a good camera work here. Jace is going to get out. And Perks goes down. And Vulcan and Wukong try to get something done topside. The Jace survives the dreaded Wukong all-in, which is super scary. Just super sketch. And Rogue say immediately, you know what? I'm gonna get a plate. And they go for this rift, which I don't think it's too wild of a play. Blabber's gonna go for the steal. It looks like, thinking about it, he has the opinion that he can get it, and he does not. And Olaf forced to battle to the death for the rift. It's very unfortunate. And Blabber sees it on the ward the whole time. Goes for the steal. Does not connect, thankfully, for Rogue. And we're pretty even. But Rogue is going to have access to a lot of plate gold. They have 3.5 minutes of time to get plates. Of course, Olaf's the one that actually has the... Oh, here we go. Blabber. Wow. What a really nice play. Really decisive play. That's like, those are the types of plays right there that are like, those take a lot of heart to do. Identifies that Larson has no flash and goes for a quick pick attempt in mid. Larson, huge misstep, playing too close without information on chickens. Olaf's death opens up red quadrant top side. So as a mid laner, Larson's actually positioned wrong, right? That's all that is, period, point blank. And he doesn't realize that it's like possible that he could actually get dove in the spot and gets punished right away. So it's a really smart play by Cloud9 to seize an opportunity that they have. A very decisive dive. It's like being able to recognize that, oh wait, that summoner has been used and we can leverage that like right away and basically get even more value as the Olaf gets picked off. Very smart. Very smart play. And Olaf still has that rift. Ugh. Odo's still doing his thing with the Jace Wukong matchup, just farming up, getting big scaling going. That scary carry Jace vibe, up 10 CS, nothing significant really. I mean, it's completely acceptable for Wukong to be behind in farm. The high level match. Vulcan goes in, Rise still no flash, and Vulcan's getting rooted up and he's getting focused. Is he going to be able to get out? No, he does not. And Rogue answer right away with the kill. And Blabber is still the man. Decides he's going to go in and wombo combo this. Whoo. And they get out. So it's an even trade at a really smart turn. Again, Blabber holding his own. I mean, he really is playing well this game. Still decides to extend that fight out, even with the open on from Rogue being so strong. Decides that he's going to turn it anyways. Like, Vulcan falls down and he goes, I'm gonna still kick you into this MF combo, even though this is a bit of a weighted fight. So a lot of heart in the plays, and here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. Fudge tries to get the all-in. Does Fudge know the truth? Odo playing this correct. Gets along the wall. And Vulcan's coming. Trains... Is this camera person serious? Oh, I guess this camera person's smarter than me. Odo's coming back. He wants more. He's pissed. And Odo does a great job of surviving that Wukong all in. So the way it works is that Wukong jumps to you. You have to swap forms. You have to stay calm and collected because Wukong will actually W at you. He'll W and he'll try to extend that all in. And if you E incorrectly, if you get nervous and E incorrectly, Wukong just kills you. So it's basically dodging a bullet there. You've got to know how that matchup works, or you just feed. So that's how you know that Odo is actually legit at Jace. It's because he survives the all-in. And let's see what happens in mid at the same time. So Rogue drop Rift. Olaf is waddling after Perks. Oh my god. You have to watch that and think Cloud9's gonna lose. When you see that play, right? You would have to watch that and think Cloud9 loses here. This flank ward is disgusting by Vulcan, though. Look at this. That is so gross. Jace gets popped immediately. God, that is some cheese shit. How do you even play against that? Cloud9 actually doing work in this game. Like some macro work. How do you even play against this ward? Vulcan goes deep and gets a ward down, which results in a kill later because of this gross TP flank onto the Jace. And Jace with nowhere to run, he just gets clapped. Even still had his flash, dude. And Rogue did use the Rift for plates in mid, yes. Honestly, though, this is such a huge... That is such a huge ward. Like, I can't believe that. That's such a smart ward. It's a slick play. You know, you'd be thinking a scenario like that. Vulcan goes for the dive on the Wukong, doesn't get the kill, goes all the way to the corner of the map. I think it would be easy to forget, like as a solo queue player. I think that would be a very advanced spot that you wouldn't recognize that would even exist unless you were playing competitive, right? Like if you put a ward there in solo queue, it never gets any value. But in competitive play, that's like a game-changing ward. Like Jace got fucked by that ward. And now we have the Rift for Drake trade. Cloud9 get the Rift. Rogue get the Drake. Blabber's coming in hot. Clearance of Vision. Vision battles continue. And here we go. We're rifting mid now. We're busting open mid tower. Rogue in a tricky spot. Gold dead freaking even. And now here comes Olaf with the Rise TP. Rakan with the follow-up. Rise 2 OP. Warping in. Olaf on top of the Misfortune's head. Sven doing what Sven does. And it seems like every single game dying for free. And yeah. I've really not been that impressed with Perks in this tournament. I'll be real with you. I feel like Sven. I miss Spook. Oh, wow. Spookong TP, I don't like it. It's still a messy game though, right? Like a lot of nerve, like a lot of little nervous mistakes. Right, Fudge TPing, thinking that some sort of flank is coming, like he suspects it. But it just doesn't make any sense, and then he just kind of throws his TP into the weeds there. I think the battle of incomplete information comes more clear in these pro games, though. Jin and MF just handshaking in mid, chilling. And now Cloud9 just knocking tower down brick by brick. Jace in a tricky spot. You're very confident, Jace, with your positioning. But he is, you know what? I have my team coming. I'm chilling. I'm not scared. I got no flash, but I ain't scared. And now here we have another stalemate for now. For now, game's still very slow, right? It's a very close dance. 35k roughly to just under 35k. So a 500 gold lead. Vulcan sees this pink ward, thinks maybe I can do something here. Really smart macro gameplay coming out by both teams. Working the vision, trying not to get caught, trying to get what pieces of farm that they can get without getting collapsed on by both teams having pick threats. Alistar able to just run around and ooga booga, and then you obviously have Ryze able to just warp in an Olaf at any point. Rakan's also able to find picks with the Jace. EQ follow-up from Fog of War means that it's very sketch. Right? It's very sketchy. If you're in the wrong position, you think you're safe, and then the EQ hits you from Fog of War at the same time. So it's very tough field. It's a minefield to navigate for both teams. Which kind of makes this a little bit more interesting, because it's easy to dismiss this as just a boring game. Right? But there's a lot of like little vision chess happening. A lot of vision chess. It's a lot of Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid. Still no more action. Rogue does pick up the second dragon, but Cloud9 pick up a little bit more of a gold lead. Just a minimal gold lead here. Not much, but just enough. Baron is still up. Whichever team, so this game, how long does this game go? It goes for quite a while. Talk about a snooze. It's an interesting snooze, though. Because you can't help but wonder, like, what's going to start happening in this match. I mean, solo queue never looks like this if you think about it, because players are just so impatient nowadays. If they don't have like 5 kills out of lane phase, they want to surrender. Inspired getting hung up a little bit. Perk's in kind of a tricky position. Rakan thinking about a turn. Vulcan ults. MF ults to block. And here we have another stalemate. And it's basically ults used on both sides. Technically Rogue losing out on that exchange by a small margin, having to expend a little bit more resources. Perks also had to use his flash, so pretty much even across the board. Ooh, Perks looking for the solo kill. Decides, you know what? That's pretty spooky. With that Rakan there. I don't think I should go for that. Perks being pretty solid the whole tournament, actually, with making decisions. I talked about this before, but he goes for things. He's very hungry to find plays. Even at world stage. He says, I can kill Jace, I'm going to try to do it. You know, it can win me the game, I'm going to try to do it. Bit of a cowboy in his play style, from what I've seen. Jace recognizing that he might not be home alone. They're thinking about diving. Cloud9 decide to go for the tier 2. Hard force onto the tier 2, but Perks gets rooted up and just pop. Like I said, you keep watching these goofy decisions where Perks gets caught. Jace looking for EQ. And Vulcan goes down, and Sven goes down. Or, I'm sorry, Sven and Perks goes down. This is why I'm not a caster. I'd be fumbling my words all day. Vulcan and Rise squaring off. Now Rogue decides that they're going to go for Baron. All right, so how does a Baron look here, though? It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Wukong is not letting it go, though. Perks will not be letting it go either. And Rogue actually decides to reset it. Fudge is in a very, very interesting position. Decides to back out. And it is a reset where they get 1 TP out of C9. Vision battles still going on. The Vision War still waging on. Somehow, some way. Rogue did not want to commit for that Baron. Did not want to risk their season on a Baron coin flip, which you gotta respect. Make a disciplined decision to back down after getting a nice little chunk of gold in their pockets on the picks on bot side. Fighting for Vision, fighting for Crab. C9 going for a fake on the push. Saying we might push inhib here. Jin backing up. A lot of camera work happening here from both teams. Where can I go? Where can I be? Boy, it's a... it looks like Cloud9 is going to be able to get this dragon just through good wave manipulation. A good timing here. I don't think Rogue's going to like it. Rogue is not going to like it. Rogue is thinking about how can we do this. Thinking about this Wukong flank. Jace doing a good job of managing Fudge on the sides. And Wukong's deciding whether or not he's going to have to go in. And he has to be forced out. Flash re-engage. Blabber goes down. Wukong finally gets in there. This is what Rogue's afraid of. The Wombo. This is why they were so hesitant to go anywhere near that dragon pit. And Cloud9 with pure Wukong bliss. And honestly, you know, it looked like it was managed well until the last moment. Fudge said, you know what? I picked Wukong. Good luck in esports. All-ins with the flash. Get something done. And they get dragon. So it's starting to actually look like a bit of a comp gap when you think about it. Because right here, look at Inspired. He's in the back. He's doing what he can. Jace zoning the Wukong as best he can, as safely as he can. Olaf forced to run one direction. He doesn't really want to go there. Finally, Wukong re-engages, is able to get the Olaf down. Olaf can't do anything. Larson, forced to Zonia's and Flash, still goes down. And here's the Wukong with the stopwatch even, able to survive this fight. Didn't even have to use the stopwatch. Honestly, it was a bit of an int to even use the damn thing. And this comp is just not holding up. And I mean, this is why Wukong is such a hotly contested pick in competitive play too. It's because, like I said, Jace managed it okay. He was monitoring the flank. He EQ'd or he RE's the Wukong away, right? He does what he can, and Wukong's still able to get a very pivotal engage off. It didn't even look like Cloud9 was all that synced. You know, they got the dragon and they're able to win the fight. So now they're up 1k gold, and it makes you wonder then. It makes you wonder then, if they lose this fight, Rogue, what fights do they win, right? If they're unable to win and to even contest a Drake like that, where Cloud9's able to get vision, push lane, set up a Drake, Rogue's able to come down and fold in on Drake and contest, and they still lose, what does that tell you about Rogue's chances in this game? I would love to be proven wrong, though. Rogue do have some decent scaling, like I said, going into this. But they're trying to control the game. They do not want to just smash headfirst into Cloud9. You could feel it. You could feel with how they handled the Drake fight, and you saw why. This is because it's so dangerous. And from a problem solving standpoint, it's really tough. You can't take Lee Sin easily. You can't take Alistar easily. You can't take Wukong easily. You can only take Perks as if he decides to int like he's been doing. It's the only way that you're ever going to get these guys down. Because MF, you're never getting on top of it. You're never getting on top of an MF that's aware of what's happening. Let's face it. Because you got the Alistar there to protect, and MF's just an ult bot with Gale Force. And Sven doing a good job, though, of farming. You know, I shit on Sven a lot with these casts. But he's looking just similar to Light here. You know, with some more deaths, of course. But he's doing a great job of just picking up all the CS. Just inhaling all the CS. This has been a staple with all the MFs in this tournament. Most of them, anyways. As they get their farm and then they press R. So doing well at the fundamentals for sure. Of getting that CS. Han Sama on the Jhin also working the Gale Force. Which, considering that composition, it makes total fucking sense. Because he's going to get Dove all day. Also, Gale Force is just industry standard on Jhin at this point. And Cloud9 is just taking everything away. Honestly, Rogue just feel like they're getting sandwiched. And Perks going absolutely crazy in mid. At this point, I imagine Fudge being like, "Come on, bro." But they're still going for this dragon anyways. And Rogue is like, "Wait, they get Drake here?" Now Rogue is gonna chase. Now Jace is on the split push up top. Did not decide to TP. Really wanted to go for some sort of play during this whole exchange. And Jace is getting it done. Like, he is getting a ton done right now. And Jace is forced. Not even forced off. He gets the tower. He gets 2 towers for the price of 1 Drake. It's an Infernal Drake. And working the rare split push pulled off. Jace robs the bank, gets out at the price of Drake. And it's going to look like some Baron vision as well. Jace is trying to leverage hard what he just got done. So he's going to run right off and TP right to Baron. LeBlanc feels like she has to TP to match the Baron. But here it is, right? Wukong is dead. Rogue has basically... It's do or die time here for Rogue. They really want this Baron. They're not giving it up. Or are they? They fake again. So Rogue just knows that, you know what? We trade TPs. We're going to let it go. And Perks in the bushes, in the weeds. And now it's C9 who's going to go for the bear. Okay, this game's getting a little hype now. It only took... How long did this game take? 32 minutes? So now Rogue's coming in for the retake. And Inspired is inching his way towards the Baron. Little late on the steal attempt. But here comes Cloud9 with the engage. Rakan popped instantly. Wukong takes down Jhin instantly. Wukong, you hate to see it. Flashes deep. Keeps chasing. Fudge is mad. And there it is. Cloud9 with a huge win. Honestly, this could be a game-deciding win. Han Sama does get a pick. And Jace going all the way home. Wee little piggy all the way home. And that is... that's just a tragedy. Just a tragedy. Just literally Rogue's team fight. It just does not hold up versus this. It just isn't holding up. After a certain point, you start to wonder if Rogue could have just forced the Baron. If forcing it would be better than what they're doing right now. You know? Because here it is, like... They're doing it right in your face, right? Cloud9 is doing this thing right in your face. There's nothing you can do about it, and you just get aced anyways. And it happened on Dragon. It's just not, it's not valuable enough. It really isn't. This comp is just not valuable enough. Like Rogue, it's just what it is. It's that this team fight is just not good enough. You need to split. You need to force the Baron, I think, because now look at this. They never made a stand. Cloud9's been making stands. And now here's this big siege. And Perks, I love this camera work. Camera work's been on point with these like split decisions. Actually, though, gotta give props. I've never seen them do this with competitive coverage before. I didn't even know they did this. Yeah, I think letting go of, they just didn't have the heart, man. They just did not have the heart. Rogue, I understood the first reset on Baron, but the second one, it's so close. You gotta make a stand somewhere. You gotta whip it out eventually and slam it on the table and be like, you know what? Like, I don't know if we're gonna be in a better position here. You just lost the dragon fight too earlier when you left the dragon alone. It was the same damn thing. And now they're relinquishing Drake as well. Now it's a free Infernal. Rogue pushed into base. They're going to take a break. They have a little bit of time, but for the next big objective. Baron's 2 minutes away, though. It's snowballing on itself. The action's heating up. You should apply to be a coach in LCS. I honestly think I would make less money doing that. And this doesn't, I mean, it's fun. This is fun, but it's never been, I'm a solo guy, man. I like what I do. I like, you know, I'm an only child. I've had a lot of bad experiences trying to work in like corporate environments, minus like the army, which is kind of corporate, I guess. I don't like the pretentiousness of like the scene. I also just don't like competitive, the elbow rubbing and the kiss assery and the people that are in the space not being the best necessarily. I'm not talking about necessarily any one team. I'm talking about the space. Just look at Five Fire scenario. Kid's better than most of the people that are here and that got to Worlds, but he hasn't even gotten a chance because of just clicky bullshit. But this standoff, like, at this point, what Cloud9 is doing, I can tell you what they're doing right now. They're saying, okay, Rogue literally can't win a team fight. Like, they're trash. So we're just going to push, and we're going to go to Baron. Right? We're just going to go to Baron. Oh, they're going to try to take Inhib and go to Baron. Nah, they're just going to go Baron. It would be very foolish. They have to know it's foolish. Fudge has TP. He's just going to rotate. They're going to set up on Baron. They know. It's like you find a money hack, right? In a video game. It's like you find a money bug. And you just know that all you have to do is stand on the objective and you're just winning. You're just moving on. You're advancing, right? They know it. And so they're doing it again. And Rogue has to be scared shitless. And Cloud9's trying to use that to the advantage. They're just saying, hey, we don't have to touch those wards in pit. We could just let those be. And we could just stress out Rogue here. We have them on the ropes. We're just going to stress out Rogue. Make them come to us. They don't know what's going on. And there it is, right there. They're just going to start bombing the Baron over and over again because they know they just cannot lose. And Wukong's about to turn in with Vulcan. And here it comes again. This time, Vulcan goes down. But Wukong on the flank. Very sketchy. Wukong dies with G up. This time, Rogue manages this fight. Not really sure what's different here. I could see that Vulcan might have went a little too deep too fast. Didn't have the sync up with the Wukong. Didn't have the sync up with the Wukong that they wanted. And I spoke too soon. Because there is a way for this fight to fail, and that's pretty much if Vulcan face plants before the fight starts. And Rogue finally proves that they can manage it once, right? Finally. And Rogue gets one Baron. So now, the game flips. So interesting. Jace sitting on 4 items. Ryze sitting on 5 items. Ryze big dicking at this point. And maybe that's all it takes. Is just the extra item advantage. Let's see. So Perks jumps in. Puts pressure on the Olaf. I think Vulcan just moves too fast. He just moves too fast. There's just no... Yeah, it's just what it is. He just moves. He plays it too quick. If it's synced better, I think it would have just been a repeat. They just weren't in tow. Wukong was just not ready to go yet. If Wukong's there with that is completely fine in Gage. If Wukong is on that flank at that same moment, that'd been GG. That'd have been GG. GG no re. So Rogue fight their way back into it. No wonder. This is a good game. It's a good little battle. And there's just so many variables in League, man. Like, Cloud9 has demonstrated that they do have the superior team fight. But even have the superior team fight, you could still fuck it up. Like, you could just fuck up the order of operations like that. Rogue just bites off a little bit too much. Vulcan bites off a little bit too much. Rogue's back in it. And now it's 3-3 on Drakes. Game's an absolute slugfest. 42 minutes deep now. Perks looking for damage. Finds some. And here's the scaling that we were talking about. Rogue proving me wrong that they do have some firepower that they can work with late game. Cloud9 have to be respectful. And Perks just being annoying all match, trying his best to just stress out Rogue. Constant pressure. Blabber has a feeling, but doesn't have vision that deep. So it's probably thinking about, maybe I could pick this Jace sometimes. Maybe pick somebody sometimes. And now both teams are about to wait for Soul. And props to both teams. I don't think you guys realize how hard it is to play late game scenarios. Like, playing late game is infinitely harder than anything you guys have experienced in League. Playing late game in high elo is one of the hardest things in this fucking game. So playing high elo at Worlds is tough, bro. Because your brain starts melting. Like, you just step on wards you shouldn't. You get engaged in spots that you just forget. It's late game, so you just start getting deleted in fights instantly if you forget that that can happen. There's just a lot of errors that will stack up the longer the game goes, because I mean the game just keeps expanding at that point, because everybody knows how to play the first 5 levels of League of Legends. No one knows how to play full level 18s, right? That's so rare and weird. It's not a comfortable spot for a League player. So even the pros here, I think this is probably where the game gets the most unsolved, is right around here. It's where shit just goes haywire. Like, look at this fucking TP. Look at this fucking TP by Wukong. Perks going for the flank. Big flank onto Hans Sama. Almost gets the pick. Fudge just throws away his GA. A miserable, absolutely miserable fail by Fudge on that one. Doesn't get any value. A huge TP with GA. It's like going for the dunk in the NBA and just slamming your hand off the fucking rim. Right? And just falling on your back. And then everyone's like, oh my god. White guy can't jump. One minute left. Both teams stressed, struggling. Sven dodging everything, being the man, farming like a G. And he's max build now. He's max build now, brother. Blabber in the bushes. Perks TPing out. Realizes, you know what? I would rather be in mid 30 seconds early for this Drake than give this soul away. And honestly, this is, again, I would put the weight on Rogue here. I think they have a harder fight. I think they have a harder situation to manage and navigate. They've proven time and time again that this is the scariest position to be in. They know they have to move in. They're poking and prodding, inching their way forward. And Jace is forced to Zonius right away, forced to stopwatch. Perks instantly pops him, and I mean, that could be game. I don't know what the fuck Odo's doing. Playing out to the side like this. I don't know why why do Jaces do this late game? Why do Jaces always do this? How many times am I going to see a Jace player before a pivotal fight walk to the side of their team, and the entire enemy team goes, I'm gonna pick this guy, and fucking picks him? You're never gonna flank this comp. It's like never gonna happen in a million years. Perks, I mean, that's like a game-winning pick. That's a game-winning pick. That's Baron, that's Elder. Or that's Soul, I mean. Jin going for the steal. Tries. Not so lucky. Yeah, I mean, dude just gets deleted right before the fight. And there's the MF zoning ult. MF's gonna shred everything. Boop, boop, boop. Shooting beach balls. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Here they come. Boop, boop, boop. Honestly, what the hell? There's not much here. Cloud9 rotate topside. Big wave. Come on, Cloud9. You can do it. Where's your coaching staff? There you go. Yeah, get the top. Yeah, take the wave. You don't really need to, though. Fudge has TP, so he could do it. Fudge about to walk to that pink ward. Now Rogue feeling the pressure. Oh, Fudge is going to flank. Cold. You got to feel for... This is Jace. Jace in a nutshell. He died once. And Rogue with the counter. Big counter. Don't think it matters, though. Because C9 are about to just run it down mid. Where are they? Get turned on. Jace trying to answer these fucking picks that have been terrorizing him all game. And no. Game drags another 3 minutes of victory parade. Another 3 minutes of victory parade. Oh shit, if this was my Worlds tournament, I'm taking Elder. Yeah, they're just gonna, yeah. This is my whole season on this? I'm going Elder, I'm parking. Let Perks pick this Jace off. Odo being a dumbass, walking by himself over and over again. Like he's never faced a fucking assassin before. Perks keeps looking for him too. Because that's what I'm saying. Perks knows. He knows he can get a ton of value off of that Jace. And Perks just relentlessly poking here with the LeBlanc. And now here comes the Elder fight. Now here it is. They're just gonna melt this game. There's literally nothing you can do, Rogue. You just have to run in there like a bunch of clowns. Watch. Yeah. GG! GG! Nothing you can do, boys. Nothing you can do, boys. There's nothing you can do. It's a big win. That's a big win. You gotta feel for him. I felt like Rogue didn't have the heart, man. They didn't have the heart to go for the plays when they mattered, and then they got out late game. They got out late game, boys.